Okay, let's jump right into it. Welcome to today's explainer. I want you to imagine stepping into the Coliseum. That's right, the Coliseum of the Cambridge Information Technology exam, specifically Syllabus 9626. The clock's ticking, the data they throw at you is incredibly complex, and let's be real, only the most prepared candidates walk away with those top marks. So today, we're focusing on your ultimate shield and sword for this arena, Topic 1.2, Quality of Information. We're going to completely transform how you look at these exam questions. We're moving away from just raw robotic memorization and diving into strategic examiner-approved analysis. Now, you might be wondering, is this topic really that important? Well, let's dive into this. To quote a senior examiner directly, this topic appears in every examination series. Every single one. Topic 1.2 isn't just some minor footnote you can skim over, it is literally the beating heart of the Cambridge 9626 assessment. Ignoring this, yeah, that means you're leaving guaranteed points on the battlefield. Whether you're tackling a theoretical paper or a heavy practical task, the quality of information, meaning how you assess its accuracy, relevance, age, level of detail, and completeness, is absolutely going to be tested. Master this, and you master a massive core component of the entire syllabus. Oh, and before we go further, if you want to make sure you're getting all these insider strategies, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Ace the Exams, at acetheexams_IGCSE to excel in your Cambridge examinations. Let's keep going. All right, here's our blueprint for today. We're hitting 4 key areas. 1. Quality core principles. 2. The procedural framework. 3. Critical comparative analysis. And 4. Top examiner warnings. Starting off with Section 1, Quality Core Principles, the absolute foundations of the assessment. So, there are 5 very specific criteria for the quality of information. You've got accuracy, relevance, age, level of detail, and completeness. Now listen closely, because top-scoring candidates don't just memorize this list like a grocery list, they actually understand how to apply these 5 pillars to entirely unfamiliar, weird contexts. For example, if an exam question throws a scenario at you about a medical database, you need to be able to instantly evaluate, is the patient data accurate? Is it actually relevant to the doctor's specific query? Does the age of the data make it completely obsolete? Is the level of detail enough to actually make a diagnosis? And hey, is the whole record even complete? See, the core philosophy of the examiners here is absolutely crucial. They want analytical depth over superficial breadth. The academic benchmarks for this topic demand logical, structured reasoning. Just listing out those 5 criteria, yeah, that won't cut it. The assessment framework heavily prioritizes deep, evidence-based reasoning. You've got to show them a connected, conceptual understanding. Basically, the examiners want to see that you can take a complex, messy scenario and dissect it using these exact principles, rather than just skimming the surface with generic textbook answers. Moving right along to Section 2, the procedural framework. Consider this your tactical blueprint. So how do we actually do this in the exam? Well, this framework builds into a super reliable system. In fact, here is the exact 5-step standardized sequence that top candidates use to systematically process information without panicking. Step 1, deconstruct the question, like what exactly is the command word asking you to do? Step 2, extract the relevant data from the scenario. Step 3, select your analytical framework. Which of those 5 quality criteria actually apply here? Step 4, execute with clear notation. You've got to show every single bit of your logic. And finally, Step 5, present your final answer using the correct terminology. If you follow this procedural framework, you'll literally transform a daunting, massive paragraph into a simple, solvable equation. And speaking of that final step, the presentation side of things, you absolutely must follow strict conventions. We're talking proper headings, correct terminology, appropriate formats, and crystal clear annotation. You have to remember, practical application in the 9626 syllabus is designed to develop professional skills. The examiners are looking for you to act like a real IT professional. If your analysis is brilliant, right, but your presentation is just this messy, unannotated block of text with 0 proper IT terminology, you are going to lose marks. Clear formatting isn't just about making it look neat. It's about effectively communicating your analytical depth. All right, Section 3, Critical Comparative Analysis, or as I like to call it, Mastering the Higher Order Trap. When a question asks you to compare or evaluate the quality of information between 2 different sources, you've got to balance your analysis. This means identifying both similarities and differences. It's a trap a lot of students fall into, just listing differences. You've got to use comparative connectives. Think words like whereas, similarly, or conversely. And you must back up both those similarities and differences with specific evidence from the text. You're drawing conclusions about relative importance here, really weighing one piece of information against another. To really lock in those top-tier grades, you absolutely have to engage in higher-order evaluation. What does that mean? It means you need to identify the limitations of the data, question the underlying assumptions being made in the scenario, and spot alternative interpretations. Like, ask yourself, what else could this data actually mean? And finally, justify your recommendations. Evaluating the quality of evidence requires moving way past just simply describing the data. You have to truly justify your decisions and assess how the quality of that information actually impacts the final conclusions.
Which brings us to Section 4, Top Examiner Warnings. Let's talk about surviving the pitfalls.
Listen to this quote straight from the source. Students lose marks by not showing working. Even if your final answer is wrong, method marks can save you. And this brilliantly illustrates the ultimate exam strategy. The examiners are practically begging you to show your systematic processing. When you apply those quality criteria we talked about, show your logic. Actually write down your analytical steps. This is the method mark strategy. Marks are very often awarded for the process itself, not just the final destination.
So, the crucial takeaway here is represented perfectly by a single concept: 0. Because that is exactly how many method marks you're going to get if you do all this brilliant analytical work in your head, make one tiny little calculation error at the very end, and just write down the wrong final answer without showing your steps. 0 marks. No way around it. Please don't let your hard work vanish into thin air just because you didn't provide clear notation of your analysis process. Always, always show your working. To wrap things up, here's a highly practical checklist of the top 3 mistakes, pulled straight from the examiner reports, right alongside their corrections. Mistake number 1, forgetting proper format. The fix? Constantly double-check your headings and layouts before moving on. Mistake number 2, ignoring presentation. The correction here is to review your IT terminology and make absolutely sure your annotations are crystal clear. And mistake number 3, which is probably the most common one, honestly, generic answers. The correction here is vital. You must make your answers specific to the context given in the scenario. Apply the quality criteria to the actual story the exam question is telling you, not just some generic textbook definition. Oh, before we finish up, I want to give you a super quick memory hack. Try using a visual story method to encode these concepts. Basically, picture a story in your mind that links the 5 quality criteria: accuracy, relevance, age, detail, completeness, with that 5-step procedural framework. Maybe imagine a detective inspecting a crime scene to verify the information, something like that. Visualizing these frameworks makes them incredibly sticky in your memory, ensuring you can recall them instantly the second that exam timer starts. Which brings us to our final thought. The arena is waiting for you. You've now got the blueprint, the core principles, and the examiner warnings. So I'm going to leave you with this question. How will you adapt your next practice paper to guarantee those method marks and achieve true analytical depth? Seriously, don't just file this explainer away. Take this exact strategy, apply it to your very next past paper, and just watch your confidence. And for sure, your marks rise. Also, one last reminder, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Ace the Exams, at acetheexams_IGCSE to excel in your Cambridge examinations. Drop a comment below with your target grade and let us know the biggest challenge you're facing right now. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and happy studying.